Okay, a while back someone asked me to do fights between Superman and his Marvel equivalents. I already had him fight the Sentry, and of course I had Superman beating Sentry. Predominantly because Superman has a much more varied move set than we've seen from Sentry. Now, someone asked for Gladiator. I had to do some more back research on him because I only know him from the little bit that I've got from the resurgence of the Marvel Cosmics, and from the small time he was in X-Men the Animated Series, where he kind of just grabbed Juggernaut and then just heaved him into space like he was nothing. And bits and pieces from some of his other fights. Ironically, then I read his moveset. Yeah, he is super speed, they say faster than light, super strength, heat vision, frost breath, near invulnerability, weak to certain types of radiations, with his main crux being all of his abilities are enhanced by his level of confidence in himself. So essentially, he is a super cocky guy with a very high power set. The moment he begins to doubt himself, his powers begin to drop. The more he doubts, the more his powers drop. So we'll go through this almost essentially in kind of two scenarios. As always, I go through 9 criteria. That's intelligence, fighting ability, strength, speed, durability. This is like regenerative, your overall abilities for stamina. Invulnerability, how well do you take a hit? Energy projection, this is just your raw energy output. Your versatility and your X factor, whatever wasn't in the previous scenarios. Now the weird thing is, I know that Gladiator has gone toe-to-toe with somebody like Thor. I also know he's been knocked unconscious by Cannonball. And Cannonball, while he can hit hard, he's not known for knocking out someone like the Hulk. So even though if you take the absolute peak abilities that we've seen Gladiator do, he's traveled from Earth to Pluto in seconds. That's fast. Superman actually goes faster in space as well, because he doesn't need to worry about any sort of shock waves or any sort of sound barriers being broken, and any sort of massive damage that and normally there's really nothing in their way. So we'll kind of go right through. So we'll start off first and foremost with intelligence. While Clark is very smart, he only has the primary benefit of what you can learn on Earth and a small amount of Kryptonian knowledge. People can say that he's accumulated a lot, but not as much as a Kryptonian would have. Where Gladiator has spent his entire time in space and has been trained by the Shi'ar Royal Academy. So he's got an awful lot of additional intelligence. So he's had probably some of the best tutors in the Marvel Universe and some of the best instructors. Where Clark would have had the tutelage of the best he probably could have gotten in an American school system, as well as adding on to that the little bits and pieces that he picked up from his Kryptonian heritage. But also Gladiator is older. So I give the intelligence edge to Gladiator. Fighting ability. Gladiator, you do not become a member of the Shi'ar Royal Guard if you do not know how to throw down. At this point, Superman is almost always a punch-kick sort of guy. Now we're down to speed. You do have a guy who is faster than light, who has been mentioned that he can move in nanoseconds. So this guy is ridiculously fast. Superman is also ridiculously fast. Ironically, when they've had Superman do foot races with the Flash, he keeps up pretty well. And Flash can move so fast that he actually can go in between universes. I hear people go, yeah, but guess what? Gladiator's caught a bullet. Yeah, Superman, during Final Night, when most of his powers were gone, caught several bullets. So if a weakened Superman can still catch essentially a handful of semi-automatic bullets, while his powers are almost entirely gone, I'm gonna probably say overall speed advantage, slightly to Superman. I'm talking if Gladiators, if the scale is 100, Superman's 100, Gladiator's like 99.5. Really, really, really close. Now we're come to just flat out strength. They have shown that Gladiator can smash planets. Ironically, he was smashing planets like the 70s and 80s. If you argue back to the 70s and 80s for Superman, he's pushing planets together. In the modern era, while Gladiator is still very, very strong, he's not really showing the my punch shatters planets. So he's not quite showing that. Again, if I wanted to compare everything Gladiator has done to pre-Crisis Superman, this is a cakewalk. Pre-Crisis takes him. So we've only seen him smash a planet once. Superman, post-Crisis, hasn't been shown to have anywhere near as high of strength, but at the exact same time, he was somebody who was able to essentially bludgeon a dark god to blindness. And if you can do a pretty good job bludgeoning the crap out of Darkseid, I'm going to give the strength advantage to Superman. Not to get anything away from Gladiator, very strong guy. But this is someone who's punching down essentially a guy who's near Skyfather level. Durability. How will these two guys recover? This one, again, it's kind of a toss-up. You've got a tremendously high amount of stamina when it comes to Gladiator. Tremendously high amount of stamina when it comes to Superman. It's also constantly being regenerated by the sun. Who's actually going to tire first in the fight? And this is going to come down to that bizarre Achilles heel that we've got for Gladiator. Superman has had tremendously long fights, and he does not quit. As this fight goes on, you're going to see a diminishment in what Gladiator is able to put out. So, for durability, if this fight goes longer, it's Superman. Invulnerability. Superman weak against magic, red solar radiation, as well as anything related to kryptonite. Certain levels of radiation would affect Gladiator. So Gladiator's overall vulnerability, I'm going to give that to Gladiator. He's got less weaknesses. And as I mentioned before, when I talked about Superman, Superman's invulnerability is actually second in the DC universe when it comes to mostly Earth-based heroes, with the highest invulnerability, ironically, going to Captain Marvel. Okay, so we are tied up going into the final three. The final three being raw energy projection, versatility, how well do they use all of their abilities in tangent, and overall X factor. So right now we're 3-3. When it comes to the overall raw energy projection, Superman, heat vision and frost breath. Gladiator has a vision that they say is hotter than the stars, and breath is colder than space. Superman, so they have essentially the same abilities, but they have actually mentioned that at full power, which Superman rarely ever uses his heat vision to full power. He has used it to deflect the Omega beams, but we've never really seen what he can do if he lets it all out, where Gladiator has. So for the raw energy output, I'm going to give it to Gladiator. When it comes to the overall X factor, when it comes to the versatility, this one, how well they use all their powers in concert. I'm actually give this one to Superman. Superman has actually used combinations of heat vision and frost breath and super speed to encase people and things. He's actually tried to build walls using heat vision, super speed, and dust. He's not afraid to use his body, spin, and burrow into something to take his opponent down with him. He's used his abilities in a lot more creative ways. Gladiator very much is I'm stronger than you. Fly straight into you. There's not a lot of variability to what it is he does in his game. He is a straightforward fighter. Because that's what a cocky fighter is going to do. So now we're down to the X factor. This one is entirely the confidence thing. You know, Gladiator essentially is, don't get this wrong, he is the cocky jock of superheroes. He's the guy who's gonna walk in like, yeah, I'm beating everyone here, one after another. Don't care. You step up, I'm gonna take you down. But the first time he hits somebody, and that guy doesn't fall, there's that chink in the armor. There's that, I'm the best fighter in the galaxy. And I'm gonna take out everybody super fast. He fought somebody like Hyperion. Hyperion, really strong guy, a couple steps below Superman, and he broke his back. Had he not done that, had he tried to do it, and had it failed, that would have been just a little bit of a knock. And every little knock that he has, he drops. And while fighting somebody like Superman, let's be honest, the guy, you have to kill him to put him down. And as this fight progresses, if Gladiator doesn't one-punch him and doesn't beat him in a speed blitz, actually, if he tries a speed blitz and Superman can kind of match him, it's going to shake his confidence. If he tries to go for a blast of his heat vision and the two meet, and they're somewhat equal, it's going to affect him. What's also going to happen too is Superman normally doesn't bring his A game. He brings his B game. He does. Gladiator brings his A game. If Superman survives the first, probably say, 5 seconds of this fight, which will be when Gladiator is going to be at his top form, bringing everything he's got to him, if he survives, he's got this fight. So I'm going to give the X Factor to Superman. This is a super close fight, a lot closer than I would have given it credit for. If this is a short fight, and I mean short fight, Gladiator's going to need to fly in and speed blitz, and I hate speed blitz because it's one of the most ridiculous things people throw into comics. If he can do it, and he can put Superman down, and I mean he's going to have to not knock him unconscious, if Superman's going to come back relatively quickly. He's going to need to kill him. He's going to need to hospitalize him. And he's got a really short window to do it. Superman has taken a beating from someone like Lobo. And he was still standing. And it was a speed blitz. And he took it, was kind of like, okay, I'm going to fight you a little bit harder. Because the moment that Gladiator starts attacking Superman, Superman's going to go, oh, okay, I know this guy is, alright, awesome. This is going to be like fighting Darkseid. And Superman is not going to hold back. If this fight were to take place in an era where there's no humans, the moment this fight begins, Superman is going to look at him and go, thank you. And Gladiator's probably going to be like, what? Why'd you say thank me? Why'd you say thank you? It's like I live in a world of paper and fragile eggs. I can finally cut loose on you. And the moment he says that, and he realizes that they're equal, but Superman can go to 11, and Gladiator's already running at 10, his confidence is going to drop. And as that fight progresses, it's hard to beat the Boy Scout.